My name is Anthony Onesto. I'm in New York City. And what do I do? I do a lot of different things. I mean, my day job is working for Razorfish, which is a digital agency that's been around for about 20 years. Recently pivoted out of the human resource group at Razorfish and working directly with our technology and data science groups and bringing what we call innovation as a service offering called Proto to our clients. So working on really some fascinating things. And then of course I'm an advisor to a bunch of startups and I have a couple of side projects and with all that family, 3 kids, a wife, I'm a basketball coach. So yeah, a lot of gray hairs. I always felt like I cared. I was empathetic to people. And I think that is a strong grounding for me in whatever I do. Like if you are empathetic, if you have a level of gratitude, you'll always succeed no matter what no matter what you do. So for me, that I think is the thread through all of this, right? So it's great. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about, intention. It's this ability to be able to understand, you always have good intentions for other people, always have empathy, always care about other people. And it's always putting good energy back in the universe. So for me, that's a great foundation. But also I think, so that's one piece. The second piece is always looking for ways to do things differently and disrupt yourself. And then the third piece, which is what I'm talking about right now, is being creative, like always trying to do side things and being creative and failing. I know failing is almost a cliche now. And I think Silicon Valley is going to probably write about it at some point in their HBO show. But, try a bunch of stuff, even stuff that you really have no idea about, cartoons and doing all these things. And who knows, they may fail, they may succeed, but it's really, it's having that empathy and caring about folks. I think it's disrupting yourself on a consistent basis, even reinventing yourself. And I think the creativity is the last piece. And these are the things the machines will hopefully never be able to do in the next couple of years. So that about 40% of the jobs are going to be automated by 2025, right? So when you think about that, and it's not, by the way, it's not just the manufacturing jobs, it's white collar jobs too. When you think about that, it's, the soft skills are going to become increasingly important, the things that machines can't do. So for me, it's always been very clear that, someone who has really good people skills, who understands human resources and talent, this is the future. Like these folks are actually going to run companies. They're going to be CEOs. For many years they weren't. They were always stuck in the back office and the HR operations. But I think more and more as businesses realize that the function of human resources, the connectivity of creativity and innovation and all those soft skills, connecting with people and empathy become increasingly more important. So for me, leaders have to absolutely look and figure out what they want to do. What does innovation mean to them? And we're building a service at Razorfish called Proto, where we're going into our clients and we're providing innovation, like a 14-week sprint where we take the leaders of these organizations and put them through an ideation. We have an algorithm that we've partnered with that actually vets ideas and tells us whether they're good or not. And it's not as linear as that, but it's basically, you get the gist, like it runs it through the algorithm. So we have the humans on one side, the algorithm on the other, and what it produces is hopefully transformational ideas that are completely disruptive. But the challenge is when clients come to us and say they want innovation, most of the time they want a hackathon, right? They want an event where they can meet some startups. But the true innovation, and I'm part of Exponential Organization, Singularity University. I'm an EXO consultant. I've been through their training. And what they talk about is what leaders really have to do is build innovation at the edge of the organization. Or innovation cannot exist in the organization, or the organization's immune system will actually attack and destroy it, right? And we've seen this Nike Fuel Band. Great idea, by the way. If that was built outside of Nike, I'm sure it would be a Fitbit type of product right now. So that's a key thing. Like, what exactly are they truly looking for innovation? And they shouldn't, they should be. They could be Ubered. Like, look at Kodak. There's plenty of examples. Airbnb is another example of it. So how serious are you in terms of the innovation request? Are you just looking for a hackathon? And if you are serious, you have to really completely think about looking at this from the edge of your organization. Google X, or as they call it X now, it's built on the outside under the Alphabet umbrella because they are doing moonshots, right? And most of the time Google never, or Alphabet doesn't apologize for the lack of earnings, and that's their area where they're doing disruptive type of things. Organizations have to do exactly that, and none of them are really prepared to do that or willing to do that. CEOs and market conditions they're all performance based on quarterly earnings, right? They're not based on the moonshots until the time when they become a Kodak, and now they find themselves bankrupt and Instagram is selling to Facebook for $1 billion, right? So it's only after the fact that they go, oh, maybe we should have done something really more disruptive than we thought. You have to be very comfortable with failure. 9 times out of 10, these initiatives are not going to succeed, right? So do you have an appetite for failure for that 1 out of 10 that maybe will succeed, right? Do you truly have an appetite? Do you have the grit? That's another thing. Everyone's talking about grit these days. Do you have grit, like to go, no, actually, I truly believe in this? Do you have the fortitude to move forward even after a bunch of failures? Because sometimes what will happen is you do this and then you sunset it because it's not producing the results, right? Also even though we're very short-term focused these days because things move very quickly, this is a long-term bet, right? So these bets are long-term. So do you have the grit and the where? Do you have the stamina? Do you have the support network, right? So your board of directors. So there's always, I tell my kids all the time, there's always a bigger fish, right? So you're always reporting into someone else. Do your shareholders have aptitude for this kind of thing? And I think it's a must, right? Like you can't, how do you go to your shareholders at Kodak and let them know that you're bankrupt when you own the IP for digital photography? Like, how did that happen? Right. So I think it's a must. Like, how do you, Marriott or your Sheraton hotels, right? And now you see this thing called Airbnb that doesn't own a single room, doesn't have any employees as part of their maintenance, but they're $1 billion company, right? And they're all over the world, right? So I think it's a must. I think you have to realize that it is a somewhat of a leap of faith. And you have to look at organizations, and this is a plug, but like Razorfish, who are doing these things for you, right? So we can help you get to that point. Or like EXO Works, which are doing these things for organizations. So I think grit is a big one. Like you got to look in the mirror and go, do I really want to do this? Really just continuing to reinvent yourself, right? Looking at yourself particularly, doing things that make you very uncomfortable, right? As a CEO of an organization, building an innovation group on the edge of the organization to basically disrupt your current organization is very uncomfortable, right? It is so far out. There was a great thing when we were at Zeta Interactive. We created this T-shirt, and I really love the saying. Everyone talks about thinking in the box and out of the box, and we at Zeta Interactive burn the box, right? So it's burning CEOs need to burn the box. There's not outside the box. There's not inside the box. It's let's burn the box.